What is up guys, it's Michael here, aka Vanilla Bear, and welcome to my all royal weapons video for Final Fantasy 15. So there is 13 royal weapons altogether. 7 of them are compulsory, which you get through the story, and 6 of them are optional. So the first one here is the Sword of the Wise, which you get in Chapter 2 on the mission Legacy. Now, like I said, the first 7 in this video are story related, so they're just pretty much handed to you. But this is when Core takes you to the first tomb. And all you do is just kill the enemies on the way up into the tomb. You go interact with the sort of gravestone / tomb, and then they just give you the weapon. Okay, and on to number 2. This is the same chapter. This is only maybe like 15 minutes after. Core takes you to another tomb, or where suspected tomb is. You have to do, it's like your first dungeon of the game, very similar, just goblins and a random boss. And right at the end you enter the Tomb of the Conqueror, and this weapon is the Axe of the Conqueror. It's, like I said, it's compulsory, it's based on the story, so you cannot miss this one. Now, I didn't say at the start, but getting all the royal weapons gives you a trophy called the Faithful Heir trophy, which is for getting all 13 weapons. So next on the list is weapon number 3, which is Swords of the Wanderer. Now this is in chapter 3, just after you first come across Lestalem. You'll meet Talbot, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they give you a mission to go inspect a waterfall on the west of the map, because they believe there's wet behind there. So you go behind the waterfall to the dungeon. There's a pretty frustrating fight towards the end, and you just go into the tomb and pick it up. And number 4 is on chapter 4, and the mission, the Archean. This is when you're on your way down to fight Titan. Shortly after Arden leaves you in the car, you automatically get out of the car and you have to walk just down this path. And the Royal Tomb is just right in front of where Titan is. This one is the Blade of the Mystic. Okay, so number 5 is, it's quite further on in the story, it's chapter 10. Now, this is after you get off the train and you have to do the sort of jungle dungeon where you fight the Marlborough at the end. Now, after Ignis sort of works out the weakness of the Marlborough and you eventually get to kill it, you have to investigate the tomb. You just set the vines on fire to clear the way, go into the door, and there you have weapon number 5, which is the Katana, I believe. Now, royal weapon number 6 is a couple of chapters after. This is chapter 12. You get the mission Beneath the Breath of the Glacian. Now, this is after you kill the Deathclaw. You go back on the train and you meet Shiva for the first time, and she actually hands it to you. The weapon is the Trident of the Oracle. This is the weapon that Luna uses throughout the game. Okay, and the final one, story related, is the Sword of the Father. Now, this is in chapter 13, Zagnotis Keep. Incredibly frustrating mission. After you drop down, you'll find Ravis on the floor. He's just been killed with his hand still clutched to the sword. After his hand falls off, Noctis just pulls the sword out and it's yours. And that is all the story related ones. So the next ones, the next 6, are all optional, which you'll find just around the map. Now, I haven't put the optional ones in any particular order, like they're not level related, they're just in the order that I managed to get them in my playthrough. So the first one on the list is the Bow of the Clever. This is in the Beluve Mines. Now, this dungeon is relatively high level. I believe it's in, I think it's level 50 or something. However, it is possible to do this really early on, because all the goblins in it are like level 7. They're very easy to kill. It's the boss that is the problem. However, I've read online that there is a way to sort of cheese the boss where you just do ranged attacks and he can't get you, which I think they've done purposely because they've named the weapon the Bow of the Clever, so it's kind of just thinking outside the box. But you need to go down the mine shaft. There's multiple levels, so the way I did it is you go down, you get an option to go down further or to get out. I went down further twice more, and then I just followed the path and eventually come across Armiger, which is the boss. A little bit annoying to fight, but after you fight him you can get the weapon. Now the weapon took me a long time to find, which you'll kind of understand why in a second. So after you kill the boss, you need to turn around and find this sort of scaffolding. You need to climb all the way up. So you just got the first set of stairs, turn around, more stairs, and then more and more stairs. So after you come up these ones where you see the ladder, you avoid the ladder, and you go past this little brick, and there's a little gap in the wall, which I just kind of went past. And there, that's when you have to sneak through there, and in here is the tomb. I spent about 10 minutes looking for this, going up and down the ladder constantly because I had nowhere to go, just because it's so like randomly placed and so well hidden that you wouldn't think about it. But there you go. So the next one is the Shield of the Just. Now this is mid-map. There's not even a dungeon for this, it's just a random tomb situated in the middle of the map. So you can pick it up at any level. It's kind of like mid to west of the map. I showed briefly on the map earlier. But you literally just walk up, open the door, and you just pick up the shield straight away. Easy peasy. Weapon number 10 is the Star of the Rogue. So this is in Mirwood Dungeon, which is the very top left of the map. There's a mission here for the Frog Lady where you have to go collect the fireflies. It's very easy to get through, you can pretty much just go through the whole thing without fighting anyone, you just run past them all. At the end you have to fight the boss, the Trent, and directly behind him is the tomb. As you can see there, all you need to do is just unlock it, walk in and pick up your weapon. Weapon number 11 is the Mace of the Fierce. Now this is right at the top of the volcano, the Rock of Ravato. You can just drive to the bottom of it, pick up the chocobo and ride up. It's a very, very simple thing, you just kind of climb it. It is easy to get lost. I made a mistake by missing the path, but you'll find it eventually. All you do is get to the top and it's just kind of sitting there waiting for you. Weapon number 12 is the Scepter of the Pious, or Pious, how you pronounce it. This is in Malmalum Thicket, which is actually just south of the previous one. Now this is like a level 55 area, I believe. This one, or no, it's 35, sorry. So it can be quite frustrating. I managed to do it at level 32. You can run past everyone and then you have to fight the Bandersnatch at the end, which isn't too hard. The first time I killed it, I just summoned Ramu and he killed it for me, so it wasn't so hard. But just directly behind the boss is the tomb. So the final weapon, probably the hardest, is just around where Falgrave is on the map, near the bottom right. This is in Costlemark Tower. Now, I would thoroughly recommend looking up a video guide or some sort of map for this, because it's incredibly frustrating. Getting to the bottom is easy, but there is a really frustrating puzzle at the there which you have to do. This whole dungeon took me about 2 hours to finish. It's recommended you level 55 to do it. There's a lot of really frustrating enemies like flame giants and flans and a room that you can easily fall into, and every time you fall into it, it gets harder and harder. And if you manage to get past all that and you get to the boss where you have to fight the Jabberwocky, it's also incredibly frustrating. I used my like level 80 summon on it and it still survived. But so if you persevere and you kill the boss, as soon as you kill the boss, I get my trophy around about here. There you go, because this is my last weapon. And this will give you the Sword of the Tall, which is the Great Sword. Which actually looks a lot like a Buster Sword. There's a lot of throwbacks in this game, which I really enjoyed. But that is all 13 weapons. Like I said, there's 7 compulsory ones in the story and 6 optional ones. So I hope this video helped. Should hopefully get that Faithful Heir trophy. But thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.